What's good, lovers? This is Neil Jones, your love coach. And the topic of the day is love. Love. Do we really understand what love is, especially you young people? Y'all can't tell the difference between love, infatuation, lust, or just puppy love. Y'all don't know the difference. So we're going to break down what love is today. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what is love. Then we're going to talk about how do you know you in love? How do you know? I mean, you've been together for a long time. Is it because the sex is good? Because you can't stop thinking about them? We don't know. How do you know that you are indeed in love with somebody? Then we're going to talk about why we hold back from love. If love is so good, why do some people hold back? Why do some people hold back so much? They'll get out of a relationship not to fall in love. Does that make sense to you? People will run from a relationship because they don't want to fall in love. We're going to talk about that. And then once you have love, how do you stay in love? We're going to talk about that. All right, so first off, what is love? Love is the most powerful force in the world. Well, it's second. Thought is the most powerful energy in the world. Love is second. How do you know? Love will have you jumping in front of a bullet to save the one you love. Love will have you taking care of somebody that has cancer, can't do for themselves. They're debilitated. They can't reciprocate at all. Somebody that has Alzheimer's and don't even remember who you are, but you still love them. You still take care of them. Love. That's what I'm talking about. It's easy to say I love when somebody can reciprocate and respond to you. But what about somebody that's sick, really, really, really sick? Do you still love them then? Love will keep you up at night when things ain't right with your love, wondering where they are and what they doing and what's going on. And it can also keep you up at night saying, God, I am so in love with that person, I don't know what to do. That's love. Love will make you want to be a better person for that individual. Now, granted, you're supposed to be a better person for yourself, but you could be so in love with someone that says, they deserve better than what I'm giving them, and I'm going to be a better person with that individual. Love can turn a parent into a savage beast. You want to really make somebody really mad, mess with one of their children and see what happens. If you harm, you can take the most mellow, soft-spoken woman in the world, but if you mess with one of her cubs, she gonna rip your throat out and spit down your throat. You want to see a man act the fool? Walk up to the woman that he loves and smack her in her mouth or call her out of her name. Love will make you do that. Love. Love will make you lose your mind. If the one you love is hurting you, y'all going through stuff, you can't concentrate, you can't sleep, you can't eat. Y'all know that type of heartache you go through, or it could be the other way. You're so in love with that person, that's all you think about, that's all you care about, and love is just such a beautiful thing. That's love. And it's a connection. It's not an emotion. It becomes who you are. If you think love is an emotion, try to turn it off. You ever try to fall out of love with somebody, try to turn it off with like a light switch? It doesn't work. It becomes part of you. It becomes who you are. That's a whole nother conversation. We had to go do some quantum physics for that stuff. But we're not going to talk about that now. But it's the fuel of your heart. Love is the fuel of your heart. Love keeps your heart beating. Statistics show that people that are in love or people that are in good relationships and marriages, they live longer. It's the fuel to make your heart beat. Love can make your heart stop. You can grieve over someone that you love so much that you go right behind them. I see it all the time. I do life insurance for a living, and so many stories that I hear about mom and dad leaving here within months or a year or two behind one another. So love is definitely fuel. Love is something that you enjoy and not worry about. If you got to worry about the love, then you need to definitely fix that. We're going to talk about fixing that. You should, if you're in love with somebody, you shouldn't be worried about what's going on. You should be fixated on your relationship. And here's this, y'all. And granted, this ministry is about helping you keep your best love, keeping your best love. Love only comes about maybe 1 to 3 times in a lifetime. I'm talking about real love and devotion. So don't be so quick to throw away the one you love. Don't be so quick. I'm not saying put up with abuse or betrayal, but if there's things that you need to fix, and if you really love that person, there's nothing wrong with fighting for the person you love. Some of y'all get out there and say, I ain't fighting for him, I ain't about that, I'm too good for that, or they don't take all that. And then once you lose them and somebody else got them, now you want them back. Don't be afraid to fight for the one you love. And you can't control love either. People be trying to control it. It infiltrates your soul. It infiltrates your spirit. It goes into you. Like I told you earlier, it's not a light switch. It takes you over in a good way. In a good way. Falling in and out of love is definitely a process. It's definitely a process. And I could go on and on about the process, but that's not what this video is about. But just to let you know that love is a process. This love at first sight stuff is suspect. But it's definitely a process. It could be a quick process. Who knows? When you lose your love, a person that you love, whether it's your spouse or your girlfriend or a friend or a relative, a parent, a child, it's like an organ being removed from you. The pain, you can't stop it. You can't control it. It's the grieving becomes a process. It becomes a chore. It becomes something that you have to go through. You just can't stop it. You got to go through the pain. Also, love can be ecstasy to take you to a place you've never been before. If someone loves you like mad and you love them back, it could be a state of ecstasy, something that nothing on this planet can prepare you for. Nothing on this planet you could compare a strong, loving relationship to. So it could be ecstasy or it could be excruciating. We're trying to work on the ecstasy part. So, how do you know you're in love? How you know? Well, let's talk about that. First part of love is your connection with that person. How are you? You have to have some type of connection with the person. Sometimes immediately you guys vibrate, or two people vibrate at the exact same frequency. That's a connection. Now, what I'm not talking about where someone is attracted to you because you're vibrating at a higher frequency, because that's something else. That's more of an infatuation. That's more of an attraction. I'm not talking about love. Love is a connection where you're vibrating at the same frequency or at similar frequencies. Ooh, that's another subject right there, but I'll let that go. Attraction, physical attraction. You know, she might got that body that you like. He may have that body that you like. Or you might be attracted to his voice, somebody with a deep voice. Or you might be attracted to her femininity. There are such things as being attracted to someone's intelligence. You know, how smart they are, how articulate they are, the way they walk, the way they talk. Attraction can come in different forms, but at the end of the day, there has to be some type of attraction. You know, so but it might necessarily be physical, because you'll see a gorgeous, beautiful woman and dating some bookman or somebody that people could quote unquote seem to be undesirable. But there's something about that man that attracts her. I'm not talking about being attracted to his money. There might be something else about him that she sees that attracts her to that particular individual. So it has to be attraction. When you're in love and you know it's love, there's sacrifice. What do I mean by sacrifice? Giving when it's uncomfortable. Doing some things that you really don't want to do, but you do them for the betterment of the relationship. You do that to put a smile on the person's face. I'm talking about sacrifices. Some sacrifices can come, big, or small. A sacrifice could be you stingy with your food and she wants a taste of your steak. And you really don't want her to have the steak, but you give her the steak anyway, and just to make her happy. That's a sacrifice. Or it could be a sacrifice to where your loved one needs a kidney to stay on this side of the ground, and you love them enough to give them a kidney. Sacrifice is what I'm talking about. That's part of love. Commitment. If it's easy to commit to that person, and I don't just mean commit by not cheating on them, but that is included. But commit as I am committed and devoted to making you happy, to being in your life and giving you the best that I got. If you're able to commit and give that person the best that you have, then that's love. That's love. What else? Preservation. You'll do any and everything to protect that love that you have for that person. You're not going to let anybody step in or anything step in and disrupt that love, disrupt that relationship. And if both people have that same commitment to preserve that relationship, that's love. Here's a tough one, ladies. Here's a tough one. I don't think guys have trouble with this last one. But unconditional love. This is how deep unconditional love is. Can you love a man the way you love your kids? And I ain't talking about nothing sexual. This is what I'm talking about. You love your kids so much that they can disrespect you, disobey you, do things they're not supposed to do, lie, cheat, cheat at playing a game or whatever. But at the end of the day, you still love them. You still give them what they need. You still give them food. You still give them shelter. You don't withdraw from them. You may stay mad at them, but you don't grudge to a point to where you stop caring for their needs, their physical needs, their personal needs. That's love. Can you do that for a man? If your man makes you angry, can you give him the same unconditional love as you give your children? Let that man lie to you. Let that man say or do something he wasn't supposed to do. Let that man forget your birthday. What happened to the unconditional love then? Do you shut down? Do you stop giving him what he needs? Do you become a thorn in his side? You wouldn't do that to your children. Why would you do that to your man? That's called unconditional love. Can you do that? Men, can you love your woman like that? Sometimes we got to, because it's easy for men, because a happy wife, a happy life. We'll bite the bullet to give you that unconditional love because we don't want you walking around the house stink the whole time. And I ain't talking about odor. I'm talking about your attitude. So if love is so wonderful, love is so great, why do people hold back from love? Takes a level of vulnerability to be in love. What's the vulnerability? The vulnerability is things may not work out right. People fear vulnerability. I ain't gonna let him see me cry. Or I ain't gonna let her know how I really feel. Vulnerability. So some people hold back from love because they're afraid to be vulnerable. Like I was talking about earlier, those are some of the reasons why people leave, or some people run from love because they don't want to be vulnerable. What else? Reciprocation. If I might give you too much. Sometimes somebody will be, well, I want to say all the time. Well, I can't say all the time because everybody ain't the same. But more times than not, people give you their body before they give you your chest or their heart. People get worried about whether it's going to work out or not. That's another reason why people hold back their love. They don't know what's going to happen. A lot of people even they have a fear of being taken advantage of. And see, a lot of this stuff comes back when your best love or your first love didn't work out right and your best wasn't good enough. So it makes it rough for the next person. But here's a news flash. Y'all ready for this? You will never get the fullness of life holding back. You will never get the fullness of love holding back. So at some point, you have to build up the trust in him or her to love without limits, to get the fullness of what love has to give, to get the fullness that God wanted us to get from a relationship between two loving, committed people. What's the next thing? Are we in love? We know what love is. We know how you fall in love, how you know it's love. We know why people hold back. Here's the kicker. How do you stay in love? Do whatever it takes to make it work. Whatever it takes. If you got to work less on your job to keep her happy, then do that. If you got to make yourself more available for sex, ladies, do that. If you have to step in and be a step parent when it's not really easy, you got to do that. Do whatever it takes to make it work. That's how you keep your love. Don't deny your mate anything. That's scripture, y'all. Don't deny your mate anything within reason. I mean, you know, if clearly they're trying to take advantage of you, then you know that's you know that use common sense on that one. Like for example, let's say there were some physical limitations that the other person has, and they deny you sex, and there's obviously some physical issues going on with that individual, then you're probably going to have to deny them at that time until you get healthy enough to do what needs to be done. Here's another thing too. You got to be honest with them, whether it's good or bad. You got to be honest with one another. Honesty is the best policy. That's not just a cliche. Honesty is a great way of keeping your love together. Now, I mean honesty as not just saying, you know, if she looks fat in that dress, you tell her that she looks fat in that dress. Or if he's you know, he asks you if he don't smell right and he don't smell right, you didn't tell him that he don't smell right, you know, whatever, you know, I don't know. But the main thing with that is to be honest of how you feel and where you are. If you're in a place and you're not happy with what's going on, you need to let them know. The other piece to that, if you're really happy of how things are going on and how happy that person makes you feel, you have to let them know. Be honest about the good and the bad. Tackle the problem, or tackle the issue before it becomes a problem. Let that sink in. Tackle the issue before it becomes a problem. An issue, you got the answer to. A problem, there's no answer to that. You got to figure that one out. And don't take it for granted. Don't take your love for granted. Just because that man loves you, don't think he can't fall out of love with you. Ladies, same thing. That won't, women, women can fall out of love quicker than men can. And what I mean out of love is get over it quicker. So don't take your love for granted at all. Cherish it. There are people who go to bed every night wishing they were in the bed with the person that they love. And they're not, because they took it for granted. Keep your love fresh. Whatever it took to get them, keep doing that. Keep it fresh. Don't stop giving. Some people think, oh, I got her, I got him, and they stop giving. Don't stop giving. Don't get complacent. Don't take advantage. We just talked about that. And last but not least, show appreciation. I appreciate you making up the bed. Just small stuff. I appreciate that you make a good living. I appreciate that you pay the bills on time. I appreciate the fact that you decided to take me out to dinner or whatever. Just show appreciation, show gratitude. Gratitude is currency. Appreciation is currency. Continue to do that. You'd be surprised how many relationships run out of gas because of the lack of appreciation. So, that's all for now. If you have any comments, put it in the comment section. Hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel. This is TJ, the Love Coach, and lovers. Until we meet again, peace and hair grease.